Alright, what's up guys? JR here. It is Tuesday, March 21st, 2017, and it's looking like we've got a pretty decent setup right here. So what we have is a second entry short, so you get your first attempt to go lower right here, bit of a correction, then your second attempt to go lower right here. It's also a two-legged pullback back to the EMA, and we're also coming off of a pretty decent area of resistance. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can short this. Relatively small risk. I think that's only a 3-tick bar. And the trend has been pretty strong down today, so our entry is going to be 63.50, and then our stop is going to be 5 ticks, so not too bad. So we'll just go ahead and see how this works out, but I'm going to put it on pause and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so we just got into that. I didn't even have to pause it. Just going to go ahead and tighten my stop, and this should be a pretty simple trade. We have more than enough room before we get down here to these lows. So our first contract is going to come off at 62.50. Then our second contract is going to come off at 2 points, which is going to be 61.50. And initially I thought today was going to be a range day. We started selling off pretty heavily, which kind of took me for a bit of a surprise, but when the trend continued down, looked like a good opportunity to short right here. This is the safest trade that I've seen. This was sketchy because you're a bit far away from the EMA. You didn't get an entry right here. There's no entry there either. You may have considered this one, but then again, it's kind of sketchy because you're pretty far away from the EMA as well. And this is looking like the cleanest thing that I've seen so far. And we actually came down and touched my exit, but we bounced off of it. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to get the scalp portion and the runner because this setup is looking fairly clean. If this trend line that I have is correct, then this is the first break. And yeah, so we should be expecting a retest for this move down since it is in fact so strong. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pause it and I'll be right back. Alright, so we just got the scalp portion out, and I'm thinking the bottom's going to fall out of this and we should easily get the runner. I'm not going to drag it down any farther because I don't want this video to be too long. I kind of just want to keep it short, sweet, and directly to the point. And this is just a nice second entry short coming off of an area of pretty clearly defined resistance. Let me go ahead and put that line on there so you guys can actually see that. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Alright, move my stop back down. But yeah, there's some pretty clear resistance right here. You could probably actually move that down a bit closer, and then you see you get the failed breakout of the range, and most breakouts do in fact fail, so that's a good place to go short. It's right off the EMA, two-legged pullback, second entry short, and you can kind of treat this like a failed second entry long. Technically it's not, since you do actually get a double top right here, and then this does in fact go one tick higher, but for all intents and purposes, like the overall context of what the market is doing, essentially this is a failed second entry long because we do attempt to go higher twice and then we fail and kind of turn down. But relatively easy trade. That's a pretty clean, clear setup, easy to see, and it worked out pretty nicely. I'm expecting to get this runner portion, but we may not. We could actually just reverse right here, but yeah, so I'm going to go back to pause and I'll come back when something changes. Alright, so I think we're going to get this runner right now. This is actually a perfect setup. So you get your first attempt to go lower right there, bit of a pullback, second attempt to go lower right here, two-legged pullback back to the EMA, the trend is down, you're also coming off of an area of resistance, which you can pretty much put this line in a lot of different places and you ultimately come back with the same conclusion that there is in fact resistance right there. Get a pretty small bearish bar. Good entry, perfect setup in my opinion. So that's going to be our trade. I know I've kind of been gone for a little bit. I've basically been pumping the brakes on these videos a tad bit and just trying to focus on my specific trading and not so much making videos, but I will try to keep the content coming. And yeah, I'll still shoot for at least one video a week. That may not always be the case, but I'll see what I can do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this trade. Hopefully your trading is going well. But this is JR, and I'll see you guys again sometime soon.